Good afternoon, one and all. I hope you are well. Just a video message for today regarding, obviously, the upcoming formal assessments, the other side of Easter. This PowerPoint is a quick, slimmed down version of something we looked at last year, just to remind you of some key ideas. The first thing is to understand that although this has been a challenging time, we are all fully in control of this situation. This always would have been a very busy time of year. If it had been a normal year, it probably would have been just as stressful, if not a little bit more stressful, with all the weight being on single exams to give grades. So it's really important to understand that despite the situation, we are in control, students are in control, and obviously yourselves as parents are in control of the coming weeks. So please, I don't want people to panic about the situation. I'm very, very confident in the students, their preparations, and the staff and what they are doing. So please, let's just be confident in what lays ahead, but to be prepared for that, because at the end of the day, success, whatever we do, is not going to be accidental. We need to make sure that students are organised, they are working hard, and they persevere through difficult times. Now, obviously, there's that fine line between perseverance and sort of a kind of breaking sensation. And I understand that anxiety has been quite a challenge over the last few months. But now we're back to some level of normality. We are just kind of normal students in school being stressed out about exams, and that's normal. But it is important to take that on board, and I will comment on that a little bit later on. With regards to Easter, the word sacrifice there is a word that no one really likes, but students are going to need to sacrifice time over Easter and do a significant amount of revision. I'm aware that obviously there is 4 weeks until the formal assessments that we have coming to us, and that may feel quite quick. I certainly know that us in school have been working very, very hard and very quickly, as well as talking to people within the Academy Trust and other schools as well. The whole idea, obviously, we wanted to make sure that students have as much time to prepare as possible, but while also having a limited amount of guidance from exam boards and the government. So that is why the timing is as it is. So we've given students full information about what is coming up in the assessments, and I have emailed it out to students. It came out to parents last week about the full information that we can give students as guidance towards their exams. So please do take note of the information, exactly what is in each assessment, because each subjects will have a different breakdown of what is coming up and is going to be examined in those formal assessments. So that is a real important document to look at. Like I say, it was sent out last Friday. It was also sent to students this week and will be attached to this bulletin as well. So please do make sure that students are working hard during this time. I know it's a challenge, but it is a short-term, last-time push to get the learning done, get the revision done, and get the preparation sorted for those assessments. Things that might be helpful to the way we speak to the teenagers in our care, obviously students for me, children for you. It's all about motivating through encouragement. I know it's really easy, and I've slipped into myself about motivating through fear. You better do this, otherwise you will fail or you won't get this. And like I say, I have done that and I'm guilty of that. But actually motivating through encouragement, like, I know this is a difficult situation, but you can do this. I'm really, really proud of you. Those are the kind of things which actually will motivate students much more as time goes on. So please do try and use that positive terminology as much as possible. Definitely praise and recognize work that has been completed. This can be done through sort of visual representation to show how much work has been completed as time has gone on. Be acknowledging of that work. That's great, well done. Okay, even if it doesn't look like a great amount, praise them for it to a certain extent. Yes, call a spade a spade. If it's not quite enough, then please do that. But praising and acknowledging that quantity of work and the quality of that is really, really motivating. And students do need that motivating during these difficult times. Again, it's important to emphasize that we do, things will be fine. In some ways, we're in a beneficial situation in so much that not all the results are going to be hanging on just on formal assessments. There is that breadth of evidence that teachers are gathering during this time. So actually, the pressure needs to be there, yes, but it's not quite as intense as it could maybe have been. And being in this situation with students as we go. Okay, so that's a really important thing to be doing as well. So that's some useful terminology to go through. Right. The main thing we need to do is make sure that students are organised, because organisation will control stress. Lack of organisation causes stress because they don't feel in control of the situation. They know the exams are coming. They're very much aware of that. But actually having organisation to get them to a point that they are ready, that is what requires organisation. So to help with that, some ideas. Scheduling activities through revision timetables is absolutely imperative from this point onwards, if it hasn't already been done already. Easter needs to be a real working time. It might be, using the school day as a structure and using that kind of number of hours to go through. It's going to be quite significant based on obviously what the students' needs are. Some might need more, some might need less. That is up to you to decide as to where we go. But scheduling those times, both the academic times, the revision times, but then secondly also break times and social times and all that kind of stuff as well. So please, put all the different parts in of the day, from waking up to eating breakfast to having lunch, Xbox time, whatever it is time, put all those things together as time goes on. So please, that is a real key part from this point onwards, because it also gives structure, and that structure takes away stress and improves mental health as a result. It might be wise to look at working on parts of weekends, but also, having enough time there for downtime as well. Here is an example of an after-school revision session. As you can see, you've got different parts within there. Obviously, to extend that through the actual day, maybe instead of working in the evenings. So that's roughly what it can look like. The next part is really important as well, actually having a positive revision environment. And one of the big things here is to be free from distractions. So removing phones, making sure younger siblings aren't going to interrupt, consoles, all that kind of stuff are out of the way. Anything which can distract. I'm guilty of it. If I've got my phone near me when I'm trying to focus on work, doing something I don't necessarily want to do, I'll check it far too often. That's why I tried to get rid of it. So please, let's get that away. Make sure all revision materials and all those things are already organised. So again, students are spending the time revising, not faffing around trying to find pieces of paper, books, etc. Have it all there, ready to go. All the stationery. It might be this weekend you go up and raid Tesco, get all pens, pencils, highlighters, etc. that might be needed as time goes on. I would say try and organise, if possible, for it to be away from windows. Again, sort of daydreaming is very easy to do, because revision is one of the it's a difficult thing to do at times, and anything can seem a positive as an alternative, even looking out a window. If we can get a quiet place in the house, obviously I know that can be a challenge, but having that is really important. And the last part is quite important as well. Is a computer really necessary to do that revision? I say that because, one, it's very easy to get distracted on a computer. Open a new tab and just start wandering, and you go down a bit of a rabbit hole. Secondly, the kind of revision that is often done on computers is one of the worst kinds of revision. Just reading, that doesn't work. And so if you're just reading through websites of information, although the time is going on, the actual quality of the revision is really negative. So actually a computer is not the best aid to revision, even remotely. So I would say a big question mark whether or not a computer is to be used during revision or not. So revision, the main big questions: I don't know what to revise, I don't know how to revise, and there is too much. I don't know what to revise. As I said a little bit earlier on, the information of what students need to revise has gone out. It will be attached to this as well. So each subject will have a breakdown of all the different things which students need to revise for these formal assessments. So please, again, like I said, that's the Bible. They need to be using that to guide their revision, because not all subjects or not all content will be examined. It's only things which students have been formally taught that are going to be examined. So please do use those that guidance to help students to revise. I don't know how to revise. Well, that's what we're going to talk about just very briefly. So when it comes to revision resources, I have linked on all the learning checklists. This would have been for all content for all subjects. Now, obviously, as I said before, not all content is going to be examined, so I would use these with a level of caution, but they are there to guide students if they, within those units that the teachers have said that are going to be examined, if they do want to look at those learning checklists to guide their revision, then they are there ready to go, and that is linked through some of their documents that I've sent to them as well, and also on this presentation as well. Basically, students go through and make sure they have revision notes and covered those different areas. There's a link there for you. It's a Google Drive, and so they are all there ready to go. The next thing is about how to revise. Again, I've gone through this with students as well as you parents as well since year 9. I do remember running an evening that people have come along to, and I know I've sent this out a number of times before. The thing to take away from revision, reading through it, is the worst thing that students can do. Just reading notes is terrible. It doesn't stick. There needs to be some manipulation, condensing, prioritizing of information that goes forward. That is what makes information go from short-term to long-term memory, as well as promoting understanding. So please make sure students are doing things that are addressing those different methods of revision. So if you want to click on this link a little bit later on, there are lots of different ways about how to revise in there as well. Right, finally, as I mentioned a bit earlier, the idea of mindfulness is really important during this time that students do live and don't just exist. And there are some ideas about actually some of the positive soul enhancing activities that can be done. So please, obviously during this time, it is going to be stressful. Okay, and there's going to be sacrifice that needs to be happening, absolutely. But building in times, those down times, make sure that those activities that students are doing are mindful. It's not just about sitting, looking at your phone or looking at Netflix, etc. It is about doing mindfulness, positive activities that actually enhance their lives. So therefore, they've got a greater level of ability to cope with what is going on. The next part is about staying organized. Keep that going so we can get through there. Breaking chunks up, etc. Okay, so again, you can have a read through it a bit later on. Mind is a great website to look at. We've got some different ideas, things that Mind can help you and students through. Like I say, they're a brilliant charity, so please do have a look. There are some great apps there as well. I'm not a massive fan of recommending using phones for mental health because it can be quite a negative thing to do because you're staring at a phone is encouraging that. But I would say these two apps are really jolly good. And then finally, motivation. There is no one single best solution. The tip is, to make sure that students have got a bit of a goal to work towards. So they keep their eye on the horizon. They're looking at, make sure they're finishing their qualifications well. They're moving on to the next steps, etc. But also having a visual track of what is going on can be really powerful as well. Particularly boys, but not solely. Okay, girls, it can be really, really effective for as well. But just have that visual idea about what is being done. Okay, I've done X numbers of hours. Here's a mark for every hour we've done, and all of a sudden you suddenly realise that there's a huge amount of work has been completed over that time, which can be really, really motivating. And there could be rewards that we get built in, time off chores or, other larger events that you might want to go to. I'm not just saying pay your kids off because that's not always the right thing to do. But, look at different schemes of rewards as we go. As I said right at the start, this is a challenging time, but we are in control. We know what we're doing. Students have been doing this for 4.5 years now. We've had assessments all the way through their time here, and this is just the final crescendo, the final last push as we go on. So please do make sure they are working really hard over Easter, as well as looking after their mental health as well, and make sure students are using that guidance about what is going on and what is going to be in the assessments as well. I hope you have a lovely Easter, and I shall see you soon. Take care.